Guys, welcome to another one of our videos. I'm the Worm, this is the Proton. Today we're going to be doing a mod review, mechanical mod. We bought this ourselves, so we don't have to say anyone who sent it to us. We bought it from
Snailtech.
Obviously if you're part of our Facebook group you know that we order from there, and you lot do as well quite often, and it takes a while. But we finally got these through about 2-3 weeks ago. We've been playing around with them for a little bit. And today we're going to review them.
Indeed. What we're doing today is the e-cig clone from fasttech.com. Price on this? I think I have to get the price and details, to be honest with you guys. We've just jumped well into this.
Basically, we'll get you the price and details for the next half, because we're going to go down and do a little quick close up on the stainless steel one and the brass one.
Yes.
But the close up is going to be on the stainless steel one.
The brass one will be there as well.
Yeah.
Briefly, because you can't bother to put it back together again.
And you'll see why. Because I previously recorded this, so we're going to go down there now, show you that, and then we're going to come back up and have a flap and we'll get the price for you.
Nice little vape.
Right then guys, this is the close-up of the e-cig clone. We've got the brass one here and the stainless steel one. You'll notice that they're both slightly different lengths, but that's because the brass one hasn't got the kick ring, which is here, because Mr. Proton's got all his battery throw and adjustment. So the battery doesn't rattle. Sorted in this one, and I didn't want to redo it because he basically said I had to redo it if I took it all apart. Because he's an evil person. But mine's got the kick ring in. This is my stainless steel version, his brass. He also has the stainless steel as well, but he only uses the brass pretty much.
I've been using the stainless steel for the last couple of days.
Oh, okay, so it's probably where it's been cleaning up, and we did clean it for you, so it's all nice and shiny.
Nice buffy polish.
But just give you a quick close up of the brass one here. I know that light's shining on it there, guys. Sorry about this. Ooh, off screen. There you go. There's the bottom logo and that.
Dial of Mojo.
It's just shining right in my face. And then you got the little bit there, and the same on the back. Basically exactly the same as the proper e-cig. But I'm going to put that to one side because I'm going to show you the up close on the insides of the stainless steel version, because mine's not adjusted to anything at the moment. It's just been cleaned as well. So we're going to start, I think, at the bottom. We'll start at the bottom. Down the bottom here you've got a vent hole for your battery venting. It does vent out through the sides of the switch and pushes out, so it may touch a little bit of your finger, but when it vents, hopefully it shouldn't burn like your whole hand, where your hand's around the vent hole, and some other mods that are in the middle or just above this side button switch or up the top switch. That's your vent hole right there. Just get that glare off. Let me turn that around. There you go, you can see it better now. That's the vent hole. This is obviously fully adjustable with just a flathead screwdriver. It's just a brass screw there which adjusts your throw. I do want to say that even though this battery on the button, sorry, it looks quite big there, it's literally touch sensor to get that to fire. That's literally how much you're pushing it to get that to fire. It's literally so minimal. Yeah, Mr. Proton's got his all set up now. That's firing. That is like tiny amounts. You can see the vapour coming off there. Then obviously we've got your tubes here. These are all for different sizes. If you're just having the actual logo version, that is for 350. If you have the kick ring on it, that is for 500.
And the 350 with a kick.
And the 350 with a kick. And then you got the bottom section, or the other section, that is for 650 mode, or 500 with a kick, I suppose.
Yeah, and then you can have 650 with a kick as well, can't you?
Yeah, but that's, you can basically chop it and chain it, but you pretty much only use this for the kick ring unless you're using a 500 battery, but that, or with the kick obviously, but that is your 650 mode. So just put that to one side. We're going to go into the top now, because these are just literally tubes now. Those are just literally, you put them together how you want for whatever size battery you're using at the time. At the top we've got an air control ring. To be honest, I'm going to show you this. When you actually put this on the mod quickly, at the top, you'll notice that you can see kind of like the tops of the threading, but that's only because when you open the airflow, it actually fits flush. It is a clone, so it's not going to be perfect, but to be honest, you have that airflow open all the time, because I think it personally looks better without it pushed right up anyway. So, but it's up to you. You can have it right up like that if you've got a side, an auto feeding ATI. It's only if you've got a bottom feeding ATI that you need to have that airflow open, obviously, because you need airflow. to create your vapor. Right, I'll put that tube down again, and you've got double adjustment in your actual centre pin here. I will take it fully out just so you can see how long this first piece is. That's how long it is, and you've even got a little bit at the top there. I'll get that up close. So it actually, even when you're actually really low on the threading, you're still going to make connection to those long centre pin atomizers. So we're going to put that back in, and then hopefully, as long as this ain't stuck, which is inevitably is going to be, no, there we go. That is your second adjustment right there. So basically, if that is too long, or not long enough, sorry, you can go with the second screw, which I've just thrown away down the bottom. Let me just find that quickly, guys. There it is. So you can adjust it a little bit more, but this is mainly for getting rid of your battery rattle when you've actually got your battery inside your tubes, because obviously not all batteries are the same size. They say they are, but we've got two identical ones. Even they're in the same size exactly. They're all slightly different. We're only talking like maybe tenths of a mil, or up to like maybe half a mil, but that can make a difference when you're talking about battery rattle, and this is what this the second centre pin is actually for. But you can use it as, you can screw it right in, or you can just use that one on its own, or you can use both. It's entirely up to you how you want to run your mods, but that's basically that's the inside of the actual chi. You've got adjustables bottom with vent hole, and you've got double adjustment 510 pin, positive pin, sorry, for your atomizers. And
be aware, guys, if you do adjust the bottom though, with mine I've completely rammed them as tight as possible, because if you open them slightly to give yourself a slightly longer throw, the button can unscrew on you and then cause it to pop off somewhere. Yes,
it is possible. Just be careful when you're adjusting any kind of throw on it, but mine's pretty much how it comes is how I've left it. I haven't really touched it at all. I haven't tweaked it or anything, and literally the throw is always just minimal. It is locking ring, so you can lock it off, because sitting this down with any kind of device, I've even had it fire with a dripper on, any kind of weight on this, it seems to be alright underneath the battery. But sometimes with like your heavier 80s, I've had one of the drippers, but it was one of my heavier drippers that did set it off. But it doesn't generally fire because the spring in this is quite strong, but just be aware your heavier 80s might make it fire.
Also be aware, guys, if you don't screw that all the way down so it's tight to the bottom of that switch, it is such a minimal throw that if I sort of 3/4 screw mine, leave a little gap. I mean, if you have show that there now, show that on the camera, that gap there is enough for that to fire. So make sure that that is screwed
all the way down.
Before you just stick like it on.
But yeah, it is a tiny throw, guys. But that is a close up of the stainless steel chitty.
One sec.
Got one more thing?
Show the switch.
Yeah.
Upwards. Right, guys, just be aware that on the top there's no Darwin insulator. So if you've got batteries like the grey Panasonics that we do tend to like, especially the 500s, they've got full metal bases, and if you put them in there, it will consistently fire.
Yeah, you need those kind of batteries. You can see the little bit of plastic you're going around there. That's an insulator. You can
put a bit of electrical tape around.
Electrical tape. I've done it with a couple of mine, but I haven't used them yet. I've been using basically this battery only. I've got two of them to hand, so I've just been swapping and changing. But yeah, guys, that is the up close of the stainless steel. I guarantee you the brass one is exactly the same. It's just made out of brass and is slightly heavier than the stainless steel, which you expect.
Awesome.
But just remember, the brass does pick up a lot of fingerprints and patina in seconds.
That is.
Alright, guys, we're going to come back up to us now. We're going to have a little, well, I say little, monumental flap as we always do. See you in a sec, guys. Alright, guys, that was the close-up of the stainless steel chip, but you saw the actual engravings and that you get on the brass, so you did. Yeah.
Same stuff.
What we're going to crack on first, are we going to do the drop quickly?
No, we'll get into that in a bit.
Alright, we'll do that last.
We'll get into that in a bit. Right, guys, obviously, here's a clone. We've heard the clone discussion quite a few times now. That we'll go into it again, but we're going to skip past that for now and have a little chinwag about the mod and what we've been doing with it. Price, I think, first of all, should we start with that? What was we going to start with?
Yeah, my stainless steel and his stainless steel version is 1773.
And this brass bad boy was $15.99. So in terms of bargains, definitely up there for brass and stainless steel, to be honest with you, but in general, less than 18 quid either way. You can't go wrong for that. They have got a different style of stainless steel one of them, haven't they? I think that was just over 20 quid. Difference is an engraved and a laser etched logo. We would have preferred the other one, but it wasn't in stock. And from Snell, beggars can't be choosers. You just got to get that order in. It's going to take 4 years to get you either way.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. we've both been using these. Well, you've used yours quite a lot, haven't you? I've used mine a considerable amount. Both of them. The brass more than the stainless steel, but it's.
I've only got the stainless, so we got both aspects of it. So the stainless is just the threads are nice. It's very well made. I mean, extremely well made. Not a problem with it. And like I said in the up close, the touch sensitive button is awesome. It really is. It's just
if you like that, obviously.
yeah, I mean, but even for those people that are kind of wary of like these chunky bottom button mods, that I don't want to be sexist, but like for like the women out there that don't want to be on a mod, this, if you're looking for a bottom button, perfect, because it is literally like little finger touch sensor. It's not hard at all. It's not like some of the other ones we got, like the Magnet that we've previously done a few. Even though that is a soft button, it is still a long throw, so you've got to have kind of bigger hands if you're using it in like the bigger modes and that. I mean, perfect in 350, but yeah.
Certain ones, I mean, whilst we're talking about the throw of the button, guys, you've seen the video of the brass one, just how sensitive this one is, and particularly with this battery, I do want to point that out. These are 30 amp Sonys, and they have got a very, very slight bit protruding at the bottom. The negative is very slightly
Mine
protruding.
is nowhere near as bad as
I know yours isn't as bad as mine. I'm not sure what's going on with this brass at the minute. It's only developed over, well, when we did the review that day, basically a touch, it got really, really small, the amount of the throw that it had. And now it's playing up, to be honest with you. It's working now, but it is literally touch. It's more of a look sensor.
We even turned it upside down earlier and it still fired, so
it's not going to do it now. No. But the throw is ridiculously short, so part of it we believe to be a poor quality spring in the base. I mean, it does wobble slightly when you put it down, it's brand new, but you've got to bear in mind the torture. I mean, we have used these extensively, and the torture that I've put mine through and Worm's done the same. These springs have got warm over vaping. We both accidentally, well, when I say accidentally, my switch was actually locked off, but that very slight throw was enough to set it off. And it actually caused quite a serious incident. Well, not the battery. The battery is now broken. It didn't vent, but it no longer works. Okay, so that was an issue. That was with an Arga on top. So something to be aware of. That spring, realistically, if you're looking at buying this, guys, and I know we are going to be switching them springs out. To be honest with you, I'm looking at magnetic switches for both mine, and I know Worm's going to be doing the same as well. I think we're going to do a bulk order and try and get them in most of the mods that will take them. But that's something to be aware of, which is that bottom button switch, the spring is just not up to par. It does need to be slightly more tensioned, and it needs to be a high quality spring so it doesn't lose its tension straight away.
But I do want to say that even though you are losing a little bit of quality in the spring, this is such a cheap mod. To buy a pack of springs, you're looking at like a couple of quid on eBay. To get a nice big pack of them, bang one of them in there, you're going to be golden, good to go.
Well, I do want to say, I mean, the build quality on these, for what they are costing, is immense. I mean, the stainless steel, it feels very well made. The brass is ridiculously heavy. I mean, these are both fully loaded with similar size drippers on, same batteries inside them. I'm lying, I gave my battery to Worm, this has got battery inside it. Even still, we did weigh these, the brass is about 30 grams more. You're looking at about 140 for this and just over 170 for the brass. So they're not light mods, but they feel incredibly well made. There's nothing wrong with the screw threadings on any of them. I mean, the brass are slightly smoother, but you have to maintain them to keep them smooth than stainless steel. But holding this, not in a million years would I have said this is an under 20 quid mod. Having not known what it is, obviously we know the Chi-Yu. If we held this, we'd probably go, it's not a real Chi-Yu, but
it's not the price of a real Chi-Yu.
It's not a £20 mod either. I mean, this, I've held 60, 70 quid mods that didn't feel half as good as this does, barring the bottom button issue, shall we call it. I mean, obviously, as Worm showed you in the close-up, you've got to do the adjustment for your battery rattle, and it's a double screw threaded affair, so you adjust your ATI with one and you adjust your battery rattle with another, and these 30 amps that I'm using are slightly smaller than some of the bigger batteries that we're typically using, and when you've got an ATI with a small 510 or a higher positive post, an inset positive post, you have to put that fully in, and you have to adjust the smaller one to get your battery rattle out, and it just hasn't quite got the length to get rid of it entirely. It can be a wee bizzle frustrating, but once you've set, you've set. I mean, if you're vaping coils like we are, I mean, this is a 0.6 ohm, sorry, coil on a 1,500 mile 30 amp. This is the second battery today, but it's lasted me all day at work. I'm having to adjust it, say, twice a day. It's not particularly difficult unless you're switching out A's a lot on the same device, in which case it can get quite frustrating.
And to be fair, guys, we know 30 amps are really, really hard to get in this country. I mean, if you are one of our subscribers from abroad, like American, that you're going to find it a lot easier to get your 30 amps. But for the UK guys, you're going to be probably sitting on something like one of these high-end panners and that, and they're quite readily available. They're not easily available, but they are out there if you look hard enough, if you want one. But this fits a lot better than the 30 amp, and it's less battery rattle. I mean, I can literally whack this in and I can be adjusted in literally like 2 attempts. It's not hard, but like I say, if you're going to be using one of these, this lasts me all day.
Easy, and the fact you can use one of them and a kick. So if you've got a kick 2, kick 1, you could use your carto tanks, you could stick that on, stick it to 10, 12, whatever watts you've got it set for, and you're away 3,400 mAh and a kick running at 12 watts on a 3 amp carto, that is going to last you 2 days.
Yes.
Even me, it would last a good day and a half.
Yeah.
Serious vaping. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a downside if you're used to other mods where you just literally got to put it in, screw, 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 and you are away. It is a little bit more fiddly than that. I mean, obviously all the contacts are brass. If this feels like it delivers well, it feels like it hits quite well actually. And
we'll find out at the end.
We will find out soon. And we've had no issues with the general 510 itself, to be honest with you. Nothing at the top. I mean, you've got your air control ring, that's beautifully done. It does, they feel buttery smooth, they really do. I was expecting to like this, which is why I ordered both versions. I don't think Worm's expecting to like it as much as what he does, but that's kind of a good thing, isn't it? I suppose, for if you're looking at buying one of these.
At least now I know when I buy my second one. No, I love it.
And it is a when and not an if now, so there you go.
Should we go to 5-point hit list?
We'll do 5-point hit list and we'll do the test and we'll do the flap, yeah.
Looks wise, it's not my immediate preference for looks, but it does grow on you. It really does. I mean, like the bits I didn't like were like the top ring for the air adjustment and the bottom locking ring. They were my 2 little niggles. I preferred them to be a little less garish on the thing. But when you're actually looking at the picture and you're looking at it in your hand, it's nowhere near as big as you think it's going to be. But the looks for it, because they're both exactly the same, just one's brass and one's stainless.
And its serial number's different.
Yeah, and the serial number's like in the millions. 9. It is a good looking mod.
Looks for me, I really like it. I like it a lot. I knew I was going to like it a lot, which is why I ordered 2 again. This for me is my thing. This is exactly my thing. I like this air control ring up here, serves a practical purpose, sticks out slightly. The locking switch for the fire buttons does stick out slightly, which it doesn't do on the Qi. So if anything, that's an improvement over hey ho. But there you go. You've got Mojo's badge or logo on now. You've got the Korean writing. You've got Style of Mojo on it. Do I agree with it? No. Do I think it has to look at this? Yes. That's why people are cloning it. I mean, I know that there are clones available without these markings on for people that want a Qi clone but don't agree necessarily with the copying of the badges and logos and names, which we don't agree with.
We wasn't going into the clone thing.
No, I know, but I've kind of started now, haven't I? Which we don't. I'm gonna come off it, but we will get back onto it, no doubt. Which we don't agree with, but this is what's there. This is what we bought. If you're after a Qi clone, you don't agree with these badges, they are available out there without these on them, so you can get. We'll call it a Qi clone without the badges. I mean, this is more of a replica now, isn't it, than a clone? But looks for me. 10 all day long. Everything I like and want in a mod, this delivers.
Usability. It is a little bit harder than your average mod because you've got that double adjustment for your battery route and your 510 connection, but it's not a bad downside to it. It's if you're a tinkerer like we are and a few other people out there are, it's not going to be a problem. It's the usability of it's the same. Keep your battery charged, keep it clean. 10. For the people that are not so keen on the double battery rattle, you're still looking at like a 9.9. It is just, it's so minimal once you get used to doing it. It's not even worth arguing about. It just is that high.
My number? Did you give it 10? I don't know. I wasn't listening.
10 for people with modders and 9.9 for the.
For me, typically we'd say it's a mechanical mod, you stick a battery in, you fire away and you're done. It is a little bit more complicated than that, even if you take the adjusting for 510 out of the equation, because a lot of mods have that now. Sticking the double adjustment in there does complicate things slightly. I know a few of the guys have bought these and been put off by that, they don't actually like the mod because of that. Other guys like ourselves aren't bothered by it at all. It depends on what you're doing, I suppose, and what you want to do. For me, I think fairly usability's got to be an 8 compared to most mods being a 9 or a 10, purely because you have got to do a bit more, and there is a little bit of tinkering involved. It isn't like what we would consider actual tinkering for us, but for some people this is going to be a bit of tinkering, and for that, yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 for usability.
Can I remember the next thing?
Maintenance.
Maintenance. Oh yeah, maintenance of this thing. If you're pushing it hard like we do, you're going to have to maintain your spring or get some magnets. There are a lot of pieces when you take it apart, a lot of small pieces as well. So cleaning it, if you're doing a full clean, like we're talking taking it completely apart, which you should do at least once every couple of months just to maintain it, because it is a replica clone. It's not going to be as well built, but it's still really, really well built. But there are a lot of pieces.
13 pieces.
Yeah. So there are a few pieces in there you've got to be aware of if you are giving it a full clean. If you've got an ultrasonic cleaner, you don't have to just bung it in there and be happy. But a lot of you guys aren't going to have ultrasonic cleaners. We know a few people that have, and a lot of people that don't. So yeah, the maintenance is about an 8, just because the amount of different parts you've got in there, changing your tubes all over in that, and just the cleaning side of it.
Maintenance for me, it depends on what version you've got. If you've got this one or this one, maintenance for the stainless steel, it's a polish off, rub off like you would with any other mod, if you choose to do so, that is. And then, as Worm said, chuck in a new spring in it when you get it, because to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't run these with a standard spring in for long. It would eradicate some of the wobble as well. Maintenance itself, I'm going to give it a 9. It's not difficult with the stainless steel. With the brass, again, this depends on your outlook. This thing patinas in a blink. So I'm not being funny, this has barely been used since the close-up video, and just holding it has patinaed it a bit. You can't see how, the level of patinaing in this unless I get the brass out and polish it for you live, which I'm not going to do. But polishing it doesn't take long. I actually enjoy doing it. It takes me 10 minutes. I sit down, give it a nice old polish off, make sure it's all glimmering shiny. I look at it and go, eee, and then 5 minutes later I'm going, it's it doesn't stay polished for long. Not like the V3 Sentinel clone, for example. When Worm actually polished that polished up, and that has taken a good 2 weeks worth of use for it. But this will take 2 hours. So if you like your mod shiny, especially obviously your brass, it's going to be a light one for you. It is. If you like the patinaed look, then you haven't got a problem. You use it and it will get more patinaed by the day. So depending on your outlook, guys, you're going to have to kind of make your own number. For me personally, this mod is not as high as a stainless steel. This is going to be a 7. I don't have to maintain it, but I choose to. That's the difference, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my maintenance on the brass, 7, on the stainless steel, 9.
Build quality and price. Well, it's from Snell. The price is unbeatable, let's be fair. It's going to be a 10 for price, because even something you don't particularly like, you pay pennies for it compared to what you would do anywhere else. So the price from Snell is generally, unless the mod or the device doesn't actually work, it's going to be a 10. But the build quality of this thing, both of them together, there's no point separating. I mean, you've got to maintain the brass a little bit more, but the build quality of them separately,
they're as good as each other. The build quality,
they're perfect. They are for what you're paying. They're more than what you expect for the 17 or 15 or £20, whichever one you've bought. Of it, it's the threads are good. Everything feels nice. It's heavy, which we like, which you should have if you're buying a stainless steel or brass mod. It should be heavy. You should feel the weight in your hand or your pocket.
If I threw this at you, I would floor you. Put it that way. No, it is heavy. It
is very heavy. Everything's in the right place. The build quality of it is, except for the one spring, under question mark, it's a 10 for both. It just is. And to be honest, the price of a spring, you're looking at £1 for like a box of like probably, I don't know, 20 or so. That's going to keep you going on your Chi for fucking years.
If you get a decent quality spring, you shouldn't really need to change it.
No, if you get a nice brass one, done. All the magnets, but obviously the magnets are a little bit more expensive, so all depends on what you want.
Indeed. Build quality and price. Price, undeniably a 10. There's no two ways about it. $15.99 I paid for this brass one, and $17.73 we both paid for them ones. Build quality, it's a 10. Without price being told to me, had I picked this up, I'd say that is really well built, barring that little button there, the spring, which again we look at as an easy fix. Okay, the only reason we haven't fixed it is because we want to review it, or wanted to review it. We're doing it now. So for me, yeah, build quality is a 10, price is a 10. But when you throw in how little you're paying for what you're receiving, it is probably the biggest bargain I've come across in the e-cig industry that I've purchased personally anyway. I don't doubt there are some other people that would completely disagree, one on a moral standpoint and others just because they feel they've got a better bargain from another mod. But me personally, this is a smashing mod. It really is. It really is a good mod.
Overall,
Itchy eyeball.
An itchy eyeball.
Yeah.
Overall on this stainless steel and brass one, we've given them a different overall just because they are different. We've kind of gone through everything. You're going to kind of have your own mark by now. But overall for me, 10 on both. They are an absolute steal for what you're paying, for the build quality, for... Alright, yes, they are a little bit more tweaking when it comes to like putting a new battery in and that. It takes 2 seconds for me. It's not like I sit here and go, oh, I've got to change my battery. It's like, oh, I don't mind changing my battery, whatever. You know, carry on. I need to vape. You know, it's going to be as hard as you want to make it with any mod. It just is. So if you want to maintain this and build it all properly every time, maybe replace your spring, yeah, it's still going to be a 10 overall. Because if you want it, you want it.
Indeed. Overall for me, without question, 10. Without even thinking about it, it's a 10. To be honest with you, I don't think 10 speaks for how much I like this mod. The mod, if I was holding a real chi, it would be a 10, bar none. But the fact I'm holding something that's, yes, it is a clone of it, we get to that, but the fact I'm holding something that cost me 16 quid and together just cost me just over 32 quid, unbelievable.
Money well spent.
Unbelievable bargain. So yeah, it's very, 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 very good mod. If you've got one and you like it, you know what we're talking about. If you've got one and you don't like it, you'll know why you don't like it, and feel free to comment why you don't like it underneath.
But that's going to be a personal thing again. I mean, we can't change your personal preference of things and stuff.
Stuff and things.
Yes. So if you bought it knowing you weren't going to like it, it's kind of
should really bought it, should you?
It's nothing we do. I mean, I would recommend both of these. I know you would recommend both of these, without a doubt. But we've given these both 10s, but they're more like 20s.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I can't think of. I mean, bearing in mind we have got this as well. All right, to review. In my opinion, that doesn't come close to this chi. It just doesn't. But hey ho, we'll get to that in the review of that. What we're going to do now, we're going to do a test under load for the brass, for the stainless steel. They're both running 30 amp batteries. They're both going to perform
pretty much brand new batteries.
Yeah, my battery now is at, what are we at? 3.97. Typically a good mod KTS, not KTS, sorry, K100 V3, the ones that drop low under load, 0.25. The Magneto was 0.19, I believe. So 3.972. Ooh. We'll call that a 0.1 drop off on the brass. I might as well give you that now. I'll pass it over to you. Yeah, 0.1 drop off. It's hard. It's very hard. 4.11.
Obviously, this is a little bit more charged battery, guys.
Yeah, on the stainless steel. So I mean, we'd imagine stainless steel will be slightly less conductive, but who knows? Well, that's quite a drop actually. It's more than I was expecting. So it's 2.5 mark. So that's as good as what we would class as a very good drop anyway. To be honest, 0.25 is a very good drop under a 1.5 ohm load. But that little beauty, that hits hard. Don't get me wrong, the stainless steel chi, when you use it, you think that hits hard. But I said to Worm, and I knew that this brass one was going to be a bit harder, just having used both of mine. This does hit a bit better, and obviously that's just proved it. Which
I do want to point out is probably why his spring's gone quite quickly, because that is obviously conducting really well, and he has been vaping a couple of, he had a 0.2 and he had a 0.4 in there.
I did have a 0.2 in here, yeah.
That was a dual coil as well, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a triple coil. Actually.
A triple coil. He had a triple coil on there, he's had 0.4s. But this is the risky run when running really low ohms especially on a 38 battery that's going to push that coil as hard as it possibly can. You're going to damage that spring, and it's only a cheap spring. I mean, I've been using mine on between about 0.6 to about 1 ohm coil. No problems with my spring at all. So it's not a bad spring, but if you're going to be one of these people that want to push it hard on your dual coils and with your 30 amp batteries, just be aware you might want to replace that spring straight away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the spring's the only thing really that lets this mod down. It's not a bad spring, and under normal circumstances it probably would have lasted longer, but eventually it is going to go just through general wear and tear. Alright, so yeah, the spring quality has suffered, but give me a dodgy spring over a dodgy 510, dodgy fire button, or just in general dodgy connections every day of the week. Is it a big deal? Not particularly. You can get springs everywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't have to necessarily buy springs, but then you should be paying 160, 70 quid, and you're paying a tenth of that. So considered, yeah, a dodgy spring is probably what I would have chosen to be wrong with this mod, if anything. And I do want to say it's not something that's happening on my stainless steel one, it's just my brass one, but again, it is just my brass one I've been abusing. I knew it performed well under load, and I was using this to run seriously low coils, and that's
whereas the thing is, the easiest thing to replace as well is that spring.
I mean, as we point out in the close-up, you may want to get a screwdriver and just tighten that switch screw off just to stop it, because now and again it will undo on you. Okay, I haven't had it since I tightened mine down. You didn't really have it in the first place, did you? But you've tightened yours up and it's not been an issue at all. So that is what it is. I'm guessing clone time's coming, is it? Yeah.
No, we don't need to talk about clones. They know the Rant.
It's not the same Rant, is it? Mojo, I believe, has actually changed his design.
So it's kind of less of a...
Yeah, it's less of a clone now, because if you get a newer one, it's going to be with a different logo, is it?
Yeah, different
logo. Which...
I think you even changed the writing on the button as well.
It's wrong. It is wrong to do that. It is. We're not saying it's right. Unfortunately, if you've got a Qi logo change or clone hitting market, it is going to be a clone of what you own, unfortunately. It is. Yeah, we said it before, it's not right. It's not right.
No,
but
it's not
these
right.
guys can do things to stop this happening if they want to.
Yes. They can paint in their designs.
They can paint in their designs. Now, to be honest,
they will have to pay for this, but if they don't want to keep changing their logo, people are going to eventually clone stuff. And it happens in every market and every industry. It's always something. I mean, let's be honest, how much more can you do to these to change these into something else?
It's not...
Everything's going to be copying of something along some lines in some aspects.
It's not that it's copied the design so much. I think people have a problem with the fact that there's a name badge on there. And yeah, we do agree with you. I mean, in this country, you wouldn't be able to fly with it, but then people would be patenting and trademarking their shit. To be honest with you, let's bare knuckle it. You don't want something copied, then you have to own it. And if you don't trademark it or patent it, you don't own it, unfortunately. Yes, there is a moral standpoint, and we do agree with you.
Yeah.
But until you put pen to paper and paid your cash, it's not yours. Do you know what I mean? It's just not.
It's how the world works.
It is how the world works. Do you know what I mean? It's not reasonable to expect someone to copy, or it's not reasonable to have to deal with someone copying your design. But again, it's not reasonable to expect someone not to copy it if you don't own it. I get. The main thing is obviously Mojo's designed this. Okay, he spent his time, his blood, his sweat, his tears designing this, and he has been ripped off. The problem is that China have fuck all idea about designing anything for this. All right, the true designs come from America and everywhere else, or from certain people, but China do have the resources to build a lot of stuff very quickly, and they have resources to reverse engineer stuff. I mean, ideally, in an ideal world, £170 mod versus £17 mod, what would be ideal is if someone designed this mod, sent it off to China and got it built with the highest quality materials, and we all got charged what we would consider a reasonable price for said mod, 80 quid.
Plus we'd all be able to get one of them. They're not limited edition, you don't have to wait. Like for the high-end mods out there, like the GGs, the Nemesises.
Nemesi.
But they are extremely hard to get of. For people like, I know the average Joe out there that one, can't afford them, and two, when they can afford them, they can't get hold of one anyway. These are readily available and people are going to buy these.
I mean, I know people have said like these mods aren't that hard to get hold of. Put it into context when you say that, because yeah, they're not that hard to get hold of if you're willing to go out of your way to get one. let's face it, I don't go into Tesco's at a specific time on a specific day, sitting in a specific queue hoping to get a specific item. They want to sell me something, you best make sure it's on the shelf.
Yeah.
Now, I know the idea is limited numbers and la, but then what are waiting lists? Why are we not getting waiting lists? Why are we not getting, okay, I want one, and if people are truly want one, they will wait for one. My name's 13th on the list. I've paid my cash, I'm waiting for it. Yes, there is expectations, and I get why waiting lists have died out, because people were waiting far too long, and they weren't getting what they paid for. But from a reputable company, which Mojo runs, and he sells high-end mods, a waiting list shouldn't be such a chore, I don't think. Now people say that's not fair because then everyone's just going to be on a waiting list. Well, I'm sorry, but if everyone is on the waiting list, he's not doing too badly, is he?
It's not money coming in.
And to be honest with you, the whole clones deterring people from buying the real things. I bought this cheap clone. I was never going to buy a real cheap. No chance. It wasn't what I was. To be honest with you, I didn't realise I'd like this as much as I did. If it weren't for the clone, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. I have thought twice about it and decided against it. Not because I own the clones already, just purely because I'm not willing to part that much cash on a mod. I'm not. Import tax and everything else, it makes that 170, 160, 170 quid mod, it makes that mod well over 200 quid. And some people may say it's worth it, and I get what you're saying, but you're holding some metal, and if you weigh up the cost of that metal, weigh up the cost of the machine and the time spent on said mod, it doesn't equate for me. It just doesn't. I mean, for you it may do, and if that's the case, then good on you. You're more than welcome to your opinion, but this is mine. And mine is that these high-end mods are becoming a bit too high-end for their own good, and that people are paying through the nose for something just purely because it's being classed as high-end. I had this discussion with someone the other day on Facebook, and he said exactly what I was thinking. People are releasing these mods in limited numbers, and because people are chasing them because they're in limited numbers, everyone automatically assumes it's a fantastic mod. That's not always the case. I'm not saying it's not the case for the cheap, but it's not always the case, and people are chafing their arse off trying to get these mods when realistically there are better mods out there, and more readily available. So yeah, I think there's several opinions, but I think we'll leave it at this. Is it wrong? Yes. Do we agree with it? No. Are we willing to exploit a bargain? Yes. Okay.
Do we recommend that you buy stuff like this? It's up to you.
It's your choice. It's your
money.
cash.
Nobody can tell you what to do with your money, and all these people that do want to rant on about shouldn't be buying that. Say fuck you. It's my money. Yeah. I earn it. I will spend it on whatever I choose. It's
a standpoint we've come to take. To be honest, with people have said to us, "You shouldn't buy this, that, and the other." I'm sorry, but at what point did I start giving a fuck about what other people think? I don't. I really don't care. We do this to help out people, and to help people make an informed decision. And if nothing else, we want to make sure that you know what you're getting when you get it.
Plus, we do like to search out these bargains and let you know these bargains. I mean, some people. I mean, I'm quite sure there's people that come onto like this video and maybe not even heard of Harstech.
There you go.
You have now.
You have now.
Get over there.
Yeah, they do specify in clones, and I think another thing people need to think of as well is that people get into this and buy all this high-end stuff. They're well into vaping. They're truly into it. Some guys see these high-end mods, they want them, but they're nowhere near enough into vaping.
Or maybe they just want a nice mod to play around with. Why they give up? Why should they have to pay like the 160 quid? They don't.
At the end of the day, these clones are, people know a clone now. If they didn't before, they do, because everyone else has made sure of it, which is a good thing. I mean, that's another thing that bothers people, is that people may be getting ripped off thinking this is the real stuff, paying the genuine cash and being ripped off. Well, yeah, unfortunately it happens. Yeah, people get ripped off every day. I'm not agreeing with it. I don't think it's right at all. People, beware what you're buying. This is what these videos are for. There are clones out there. Make sure you know what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean? The switch button, for example, a new logo, this kind of stuff.
Go to an official source or check with them. Contact the official maker of the mod and say, is this an official seller of your product?
Yeah, and if you're buying second hand, which is where I think this is really coming in, then make sure wherever you're buying from, whether it be UK Vapors, whether it be a Facebook group, make sure someone can vouch for this person. If it's someone who's joined 2 days ago, selling something that's classed as high end and wants to get rid of it really quickly, and the price seems a bit too good, chances are it is a bit too good.
Actually, just do your research, cover your own arse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you really want a high-end mod and you're willing to pay for the TV, you're going to research before you buy.
Let's face it, these mods now are pretty much what I would consider worthless. Someone says, I'll give you a tenner for that. No thanks, I'll keep it for a tenner. Alright, it'll be my going out mod. It'll be my take to work mod. The thing is, with this, I don't care about it. I like it, yes, but I'm not going to cry if I dent it. If I get a real cheat, I'm going to cry like a baby. I am. And it's going to sit there cuddled, and it's just... Honestly, I think the clones are a piss take. And honestly, I think the high-end stuff is almost as much of a piss take for how much they're charging for it. Alright? That's my honest, humble opinion. We work in an industry where you fabricate things. We know the cost of things to fabricate. We know that there's designing that goes into it, and that designing costs time and money. But there becomes a certain point where that money that it cost you to design something has made its way back to you with interest, and then you're now making nothing but pure brass cash. And that's more my concern than anything else, is that it don't seem to stack up. And these limited numbers mod, they're not that limited. If you've got a mod with a serial number 3, 4, 500, or you've got batch 5 with 300, or 300 on batch 5, do the math. 300 of batch 5 is 1500 mods at nearly 200 quid a throw. Add it up, alright? I ain't saying these guys don't deserve their money. I'm not saying that at all. And Mojo has got to be fucking annoyed. But surely all this hype surrounding the Chi-Yu has increased the popularity of the original Chi-Yu. I know that Nemesis sales went up 5%. 5% after the clone has been released. And people are going, it's going to impact the real mod. Obviously it's not. It's obviously not. I'm not being funny. People who want a Nemesis, Charlie from the Facebook group wanted a Nemesis. He bought the clone. Okay, people going, oh, it's gonna rob Nemesis. Really? Is that why he then went out and bought two official Nemesis immediately after getting the clone? Because he tested the water, decided he liked what he felt, and then jumped in. Alright? I don't think these sales are really impacted at all. If anything, I think all these clones and all the talk of these clones is actually generating sales for these companies. Yeah, it is, and I've had enough of elitist people saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Couldn't care less what you say, mate. I really couldn't. I know Worm's the same. 90% of people out there are the same. If you want to sit on your pedestal and soapbox and start throwing your toys out the pram, then go for it. And I know this is a rant, I really do. And it's more certain posts I've read on forums. It's just like, what the fuck are you thinking when you're sat there being a keyboard warrior, telling people what they can and can't do with their... It is a keyboard warrior with their own fucking money. It's a joke. Don't agree with it? No. Don't agree with you trying to tell people that they're doing something wrong either, though. Alright? Yes, it is wrong that they're making it. It's not wrong that we're buying it. It's on there. Someone else is going to buy it. We might as well exploit that bargain. Get as much as we can out of them. Alright? Because let's face it, China are going to move on to the next thing pretty bloody quickly. If you want the real thing, why are you looking at a website that sells clones? That's where I'm leaving this. I've had my little rant. It's actually quite annoying me, to be honest with you. You want the real stuff, you're going to buy it. If you're looking at a clone or bought the clone, chances are you're never going to buy the real stuff. And if you have bought the clone, you probably now want the real thing in the first place, which is only adding to the elitism. Rant over. Sorry, guys.
I'm back. Hello, guys.
Yeah, I'll let you step in. Sorry, guys. I know this has been a bit of a... But I started, and it's Pringles. Once you start, you can't stop. But it's getting worse, though.
Keep going.
I know, but it is getting worse. I mean, the K-Fun Light, the Russian come out, which is a high-end clone of the K-Fun Light, and everyone's like, boo, 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 boo. Well, I'm sorry, but K-Fun or Solve did what they had to do in order to bring that back. They got the K-Fun Light out. It's just meh. That's where I'm leaving this. I don't know why people are so incredibly fixated on making sure that no one else gets the clone, because they're going to anyway. They're going to anyway. And I think part of it is because they feel fucked off that someone else has got a mod that's pretty much exactly the same as what they're holding, and it's cost them a hell of a lot less and it performs pretty much the same. Ultimately, it's a tube that supplies power to a wire that heats a coil, or heats a wire coil, and then vaporizes some liquid. I just don't get it. I don't get the elitism, I really don't. It's not like we haven't got iron stuff. Worm's got Bravari. He doesn't sit there bitching at people when they buy Bamos. It's just... This video is taking a proper downswing, isn't it? I'm fucked off, people. I am. I'm annoyed. And I don't know why. I wasn't before I started this video, but now I am. Indeed.
Oh.
Yeah, I am done, yeah. I am done.
Alright, guys. Thank you for watching.
No, my turn. Thank you for watching, guys.
You've been talking the whole time.
I know. Go on, you can do it.
Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. Obviously, that was the Chi-Yu clone, brass and stainless steel version, and Mr. Proton's massive rant.
It was a massive rant.
We hope you enjoyed, and we hope to see you again.
See you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.